Firstly, a very warm welcome to our Business Showcase interviews. My name is Ron Maycock. I am the owner of Action Coach Castleford and also of Business Performance UK. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Roy Kendall, who is the founder and managing director of Top of the Range. A very good morning to you, Roy.
Good morning to you, Ron.
Fantastic to have you with us. So we'll be hearing more from Roy in just a few moments. Before that, I just wanted to really explain what the purpose of these interviews actually is. So we're surrounded by some amazing businesses in our area. Each of those have got their own stories to tell. And these interviews help us share their journeys, showcase their achievements, and ultimately maximize their exposure, all in the name of abundance. And it's for the benefit of businesses across the UK and occasionally wider afield as well, and certainly further afield. So we are working with businesses that do go international as well. So without further ado, Roy, do you want to tell me a little bit more about Top of the Range?
Certainly, it's a trading as company. The formal name is Service Sports Weatherby. I started it in 1993 from being made redundant from the military after 17 years with the Royal Engineers.
Excellent. And what's the premise? What do you actually do and who's it for?
We're a distributor now. We don't do very much to individuals. We do deal with individual groups. Our main focus is the retail outlets on military camps, Army, Navy, Air Force, Royal Marines. From that, we're the only distributor, because that's split up into four companies now, four segments, because the NAFI was the sole Navy, Army, Air Force institution. From that, now they do Germany, Brunei, Ascension Islands, Falkland Islands, and all HMS, which we do supply. And then from that, it's Aramark, Compass, and Sodexo have got different regions around the UK, and we're the only one that supplies to all four groups.
So you're covering all disciplines. And product wise, I'm guessing it's quite a range of products, but are there general categories that you tend to get involved with? Is it clothing orientated? Do you do other things as well as?
Well, we do, yes. We've thrown our hand in with Under Armour some years ago, about 10 years ago, when we first come to the UK. And if you are certainly on the soldier's side of life, Under Armour is associated with them. That's reduced now for us, in as much as Under Armour now have got 7 or 9 outlet stores around the UK. However, the likes of Falklands, Brunei, because it's brilliant. We don't get returns. In 10 years, I've had one T-shirt returned and it was never put back in the post. I just think they wanted a free one. So that's on the clothing side. We also do the basics from elastics to boot polish, boot wax care treatment under our own brand made in the UK, carrying systems, small rucksacks, small day sacks, thermos flasks. We do like thousands. And then there's dry sacks. When a person joins, because we're in every training base throughout the UK for officers and men and women, including AFC Harrogate, Army Foundation College Harrogate, which takes people from the age of 16 through to 18, and when they join their own regiment and cat badge for their own training or special alarm training. So they're familiar with our name, they're familiar with our brand. We've got now some 70 odd items under my own brand and design, which we've brought through over the years and introducing more each and every year.
And when you're working, is this physical product or is there an online catalogue that people can order from these days?
We're very, very fortunate. The guy that helps us out with our website, called John, who comes in as we need him on a weekly basis. It's not full-time, it's part-time. And with his work, if you put in the wording Top of the Range, we're on page 1.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, it's easy to find, and do you find that a lot of the traffic comes from people, or is it coming from the physical? Is there a physical shop often on a base where people can actually go in and see a range of different things? Or
Yes, every camp has got an outlet store
uh,
where you can sandwiches, a packet of fags, a packet of papers, a newspaper, or whatever, a tin of pop. From that, we do a standard 1 meter range for smaller shops, going up to including 12 to 15 meters in one of the bases that we've got a lot of space, a lot of gondola space. That's in a Royal Recruit training base. And we've got 2 reps that are out every week calling on these shops. And the biggest progress we've had over the last 4 years is auto ordering, EDI, call it what you want, push ordering. So when the reps go round now, they're doing the job more of a little bit of shop fitting, a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of presentation in store, making sure the managers, because it's quite a transient employment role for these shops, in as much as quite often the shop manageresses, tends to be manageresses, are the wives of the soldiers or the sailors or the airmen that's in there. So they're there for 2 years and they quite often move on. So we have to go through the familiarity. So if we keep the reps out on the road every week, and people at the end of the day buy from people more than they do anything else.
Yeah, no, excellent. And where do you cover geographically? So where are you supplying to, and where do you have actual shops? Is it all in the UK, or are you directly going further afield?
From Royal Naval Air Station Penzance, right the way through up to and including Inverness. To the best of my knowledge, the only place we haven't got is on an island called Benbecula, which is a Royal Artillery live firing range. And I just can't, I can't get without going there, and it's a million miles away. From that, the most southern shop that we supply is in Port Stanley in the Falklands, Ascension Islands, Gibraltar, Cyprus, Brunei, Belize, all of Germany, and HMS.
Brilliant. So do you have local representation? Do you send your reps out when you say that they're on the road? Are they literally on the road down to the Falklands occasionally, or is this you tend to have a local representation in further afield places?
We about 40% of the staff are ex-forces, so they're very familiar with what's available. We haven't actually been to the Falklands. We were due to go, and then something went wrong somewhere. I know the Ascension Islands shut down the airport. So no, they're all ordering from Central, which is a base in this particular case. Each of the companies, obviously, they didn't all go to the same business school. So each company has got its own ways of doing things. I can't show you now, but I'll put it up on my other screen. Each time the rep calls in, they fill out a survey form and take pictures of before and after. So when they walk in, they take a picture. So I can get an idea of what the place is presenting like to the customers when they walk in. And also they take an afterwards picture when they've done their bit of aligning things, making sure the stock's up right. Perhaps sometimes going into the back of store to find some stuff that's been hidden in the box, which is not unique. So to get them out, to make sure the baskets are full, to do a rep's job.
And is it primarily order to stock, or order, basically a demand pull order system? So are the shops and the retail outlets actually holding stock of faster moving goods, or do you hold those centrally and then actually have a distribution from one location or multiple locations?
We've got our own warehouse and office attached in Wetherby. So from that, we will get an order in, and generally speaking, within 48 hours, it'll be on their doorstep.
Right.
They've got just in time. With the auto orders, there's par levels set for every single SKU. We've got 750 SKUs. And if we notice that they've run out, because they do it weekly, some shops bi-weekly and some shops monthly, depending on their needs. So from that, if I ever see a survey with a gap, I've got one up on my other screen there, which I don't know how to share it with you. There's two facings that are empty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying to the rep, well, is that a blip? Or we say to the shop, is that a blip, or should we up your power levels? So that if we know it's a size 8 flip-flops, which we do very, very well with, for instance, then up the power levels. And it does get unique in as so much as the Royal Gurkha Regiment tends to take a lot of size small and medium, whereas CTC Lympstone, Commander Training Centre Lympstone, tend to be more larges and extra larges.
Yeah.
So we adjust, but obviously they still get the different sizes. So we might have one pair of small boxer shorts in CTC Lympstone, but we might have 5 or 6 pairs of large and extra large.
And are any of the transactions done actually with the forces themselves, or are these done with the military team, if you like, the people within it? Or are you doing sort of mass orders for, you know, for the army or whatever it may be?
Occasionally they come through on the different systems that they use, LPO or the card system. Occasionally they come through for operational roles, but our loyalty is to our customers.
Mm-hmm.
So we do a little bit on the web, but by the time someone buys it on the web, they're paying full retail and they're paying £8.50 shipping. So you really need it by the time you buy it from us, because our focus is on the Arrow Marks, Compass, Sodexo, and Nafi. And if I did both, it would confuse the picture.
Okay, no, that sort of makes sense. As you say, if it's cheaper to actually do it through that outlet of direct retail rather than off the website, then, you know, it negates that awful situation that we see in so many different industries where people look at how to buy something directly, give up because it becomes difficult, and then go onto Amazon or something like that and just go, oh, I can get it cheaper from them. If they can't get it cheaper online, then they're going to go through the direct retail outlets and get that discount, which is a great model to actually have.
That's the aim, and shops tend to stick to around RRP, and they're small convenience shops. We've got to remember what we deal with. It's a local shop on the outskirts of a council estate. But a nice one. So the theft issue isn't high. The security issue is fantastic, because at the end of the day, most camps have got armed people on the gate. So the security is very, very high for the shops. We don't have a high theft issue, to the best of my understanding. Obviously, I don't know everything that goes on in the shops. We do have sometimes famine and feast. So that if when COVID hit, we got absolutely hammered. We were 95% down for the first 3 weeks. However, when the MOD, in their infinite wisdom, and they do a lot to protect their people within their command, they brought them back into camp, but then they wouldn't let them out.
All right.
Oh, that was helpful for us, because the only shop they could go to, and one camp in particular, huge camp geographically, lots of space, lots of accommodation, and before they went on operational tour, everybody went there for 2 weeks to make sure they were cleaning. Cleaning. And the only shop they could go to was the on-camp shop. You make your own mind up.
I was going to say, a silver cloud to every, or a silver lining to every cloud, I guess, on that one. So
every packet of cigarettes has got a silver lining.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yeah, it affected so many different businesses in so many different ways. So, is there anything that you've learned or changed from COVID and from the lockdown that you've kept on and actually gone, actually, that's a good way of modus operandi of actually delivering our service? Is there anything that you've retained as a process moving forward?
Timing is crucial in everything that we do and say. Um, and we were very, very fortunate. We were toying with the idea with some of the people working from home remotely anyway. And we just set up, we were so fortunate, we just set up every people that could work from home on the administrative side with the relevant, making sure their broadband worked, making sure they got a comfortable chair to sit in, make sure they've got a desk that was appropriate for their working from home. And we just set this up. And we'd also just set up for the majority of the companies automatic ordering. So whereas the reps, I used to have 3 reps going around collecting orders.
Mm-hmm.
But we just set up this auto ordering system and we were in the process of proving it at the time. And then it all kicked in and we had no option. But we'd got the building blocks. We were so fortunate. We've got the building blocks already in place. And now we've got people that wish to work from home 1 day, 2 days a week. And it's great. And it worked out. It proved the system. It battered the system. It really, really did give it a hiding. We had cleaning schedules and everything that's going on that went on with COVID. But as far as we were concerned, we had all our ducks in a row. So we could still operate at full capacity. In fact, more than what we were doing.
Met the requirements and were well positioned to take it forward. So what's changing in the industry generally, and how are you adapting to that?
We're very fortunate with what we do. We do a select amount of items, about 750, 800 SKUs. And then, so the upside for us, yes, the SKUs might change a little bit of colour from that flask to that flask. So it's a new barcode, but our systems are set up for that to inform the administrative people on with whoever it is, Alexa, Mafi, Compass, Aramar. The difficulties. Sometimes the brands, the big boys, they change without notice. And we found with the shippings, we do import ourselves and we also have our own branded items, that when the shipping went from 3 to 4 months landed, from order to landing, it went to 7 months for all of us. Everybody had that. That caused issues. And then we were finding the bigger boys were just putting up prices ad hoc on invoice, no notice. That caused quite a lot of consternation, and the margins were affected. Again, but we've changed our systems now. We go through every SKU, 2 people every month, and we've got our own systems now that we go through every SKU every month. And whereas we used to issue our price rises in October, because in our trade, quite often the prices went up in September. We now don't. We follow every SKU every month.
I think it's essential. I a few years ago, I was involved with the steel industry, and the same. We had scrap and alloy surcharges. We had certain things that were global mechanisms, and something changes, and you're on a 3 to 6 month lead time of even getting the materials. You could be left holding the baby once the bathwater's gone. All the margins just suddenly gone, and there was very little margin in there anyway because it went into automotive. So,
it did, and then obviously during COVID, the fact of getting parcels out the door, because drivers were not always turning up, that taught us to go back to the basics. If you're going to have a supplier or manufacturer on tap, have 2. So we use 2 couriers now. So if one's down, generally speaking, we can pick up with the other. That's been very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Then we altered our systems slightly in here, and they got proven. They really did get tested and proven, and more tweaks, but they work. They work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with the sort of flow in, if you like, within the supply chain, so you're working on just in time from order to actually delivery. I think I can't remember if you said it was sort of circa 48 hours. It's actually with the customer. Are you holding stock now, given the challenges that you've had with the international supply and doubling the lead time? Are you sat
We
on, significant stock that you can then distribute out?
Yeah, we had to. It was a choice. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to, I don't actually go for growth. I actually go for security.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with security, if growth is a part of the security, fine, let's go for growth. And that was part of what we decided to do. And now, when the reps send me the survey, there's very, very few gaps
Mm-hmm.
in store. So to get that, we've got to hold stock.
Mm-hmm.
With that, we tend to hold. The aim is to hold 3 months worth of stock at any
Mm-hmm.
one time. That's as far as we're concerned, the ultimate. With that, obviously, when you get a container coming in of whatever, all of a sudden you've got 18 months worth of stock.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time you've done it, it's a balance of how much cash have you got, how much rent do you want to pay for how much space that you need to secure a location, and what you're going to do with it when you get it, and can you get it in picking points. So we've extended on the warehouse a few years ago. So we've got the pallet warehouse for we call it, and then we've got the picking points.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, touch wood, it's our systems are proven. The security, which I got taught that there's nothing wrong with having 10% of your turnover in the bank in available cash.
Mm-hmm.
So that's security.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on our way. But we don't owe anybody any money. I own all the stock. People owe me a lot more money than what I owe them.
Mm-hmm.
That's, to me, is on the way to being secure.
No, absolutely, and again, the sort of global challenges, not necessarily because it's a global supply chain, but everyone across the world is facing a similar thing, and we've gone from people turning around and going, stock retention is a dirty word, to trying to be a little bit smarter and having intermediate kanbans or whatever, and having bins of certain faster moving stock or whatever, to having to evolve to systems that, quite frankly, just weren't an option years ago. It just tied up all your cash. So now it's, looking at every other way of either financing it or self-funding it and having that through there, or, as you say, taking a hit or discussing and having drawdown against consignment or whatever way your suppliers then are sharing some of that cost burden. But yeah, interesting times, and it's the big smile probably says you've tried to discuss that, and they've turned around and said, absolutely not. You want it, you pay for it.
Because we are SEDEX, we are ISO, Armed Forces Confident, that all takes up time and effort. And when you go through the contracts from the people that we're supplying, they know how to write contracts far better than I do.
Yeah.
And so I can't say yes. I will. We take the pain away for them of having direct accounts with, say, for instance, Under Armour, right? Under Armour wouldn't look at these shops, no chance, and sell. You mean 2 of these, 3 of those, on a weekly basis, no chance. They haven't got set up. So we will get a select few items from their range, but it's footwear, socks, gloves, hats, t-shirts, day sacks, whatever. duffel bags. And we will offer a select few now. Because from my own experience of 17 years of being in the Corps, you go into the shop, and certainly as a male, you go in, I need a bag. I prefer to it to be black, but does it matter if it's grey? No.
Mm-hmm.
I need the bag. I'm in the Falklands. I've bought too much stuff, and I need a bag to carry it home in. Go to the shop and buy them. And we do, like, on that, we've reduced our colourways. We used to do a particular top, which was quite popular, called a quarter zip, and we had it in 17 different colourways. No, stop that.
Mm-hmm.
But it does mean now that I've got all sizes and the 3 colours that we offer it on in stock.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's too much choice in terms of supplying into that is difficult. If that's your business model, that you offer the widest range of options, then the payback is some of those will be on longer term delivery. And as you say, if it's practicality over aesthetics, then and time is the driver, that they need the item now, then, as you say, color of it, what it looks like, hey, doesn't really make that much of a difference.
Like, we were the only Under Armour tactical distributor in the UK, and the word, as soon as you put the word tactical in there, it's either green, tan, or black.
Mm-hmm.
It really suited what we were trying to do, and it's reduced what we call DODS, dead or dying stock. It's dramatically reduced that, dramatically. So I don't have it now. Basically, we have very, very little DODS, and that was a lot of margin that we were out on, because you still got to pay rent on it, you still got to warm it, you still got to keep it dry, you still got to have it insured, and it was dead. So we changed distinctly on that. There was a bit of pushback.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that was a decision that we made, and again, touching wood, it came to fruition, and it actually upped our turnover.
And this is the thing, it's understanding what you do within that supply chain is so important, and if you try and be all things to all people, that's where it's something that we often call the triangle of death. That if you try and do all 3 things of the triangle, then you're setting yourself up to fail. If you can be amazing at one of them, set a level of it will never drop below that consistency on another, and the other is what it is. And it could be price, it could be time, it could be quality. It doesn't matter which you pick, as long as you're clear on who you are as a business. It makes a massive difference. So
also, we do a fulfillment report for the groups, and we were at about 75% at one point. We're now in the high 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we're turning over more,
mm-hmm.
and the shops are turning over more. And a soldier, for instance, or a Royal Marine perhaps from Livingston, could go join his regiment in Arbroath, and he will be familiar with the brands and what's available.
Mm-hmm.
And that's helpful.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's that association of what you do, and it becomes their safe place. They know what they're going to get, and as you say, if they can go direct and get it at RRP instead of at a marked up price or whatever, even better. It validates the model that you're doing, I guess, in terms of that. So, and what's next for top of the range? What's happening on the sort of local front, if you like?
Still striving to that 10% in the bank in cash.
Yeah.
We're making sure that it's a continual, KIP, and a continual improvement program, making sure that the staff are entertained, making sure that they're happy. We do invest quite a bit into staff training, which might just be a barbecue. We're looking at trips away to make sure that we've got the security that I'm aiming for. And that I'm 63 this year. And to be quite honest, I've really enjoyed the 2 months off that I've just had to take the opportunity to go see the children where they live and spend some time with them. So if the company can go without me for 9 weeks, I think our systems are proven to be secure.
Getting there, yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, I was in touch every now and then on the phone, mainly on email. But when we were doing the travelling that I didn't always have access to emails. And I had complete and utter faith in the people around me.
It's interesting. One of the acid tests is that you can take that amount of time off, not touch your email, not touch the phone, and actually have all of that time off. And that's when you know that the systems are absolutely flawless, and there's total trust in those operating the systems to run the company. The unfortunate downside of that, Roy, is you'll suddenly wake up and you go, I feel obsolete. It clearly doesn't need
me. If I'm a non-productive member of staff, as long as I'm the only one that's non-productive, I'm happy, because
as long as you can live with that.
I was taught a good colonel of a regiment, CO, call it what you want, is one that can not be there and the regiment still fulfil its role.
It's the Lao Tzu definition of leadership, that a great leader, when all tasks are done and goals achieved, will be told by those around them, we did it ourselves.
Yeah, I'm happy for everybody to take the credit. Yeah, and if more than happy. My particular culinary joy is prawns, and in Sydney Fish Market. If you ever get the opportunity, go and have a look at the prawns there, honey. So it gives me great joy, especially because I'm in favour of employing young people.
Yeah.
And we've got younger people here that it's been their first or second job, and they're still with us. And we offer courses, we offer training. Sue, who's my absolute right arm on everything, has been with us for 23, 24 years. Ian, the rep down south, longer. So we try and retain people because they want to, rather than it's just it, because we all got to pay a mortgage or whatever. But can we invest in people? And so that they just pick up that extra little bit later.
Yeah. It meets one of the basic human needs of belonging. You know, if people feel that they belong to the journey, that they're all on the same journey, and are happy with the destination, then you'll have people that are engaged, motivated, and perform at a higher level anyway. There's lots of discussion about, you know, if you find if people are doing a job that they absolutely love, and then you incentivize them or over incentivize them, it actually diminishes a little bit of that intrinsic motivation that they have. So don't tell them that I said that when they come to you for a pay rise, but it is there's a lot of science behind it, that people perform at the highest when they love what they do, when it's an intrinsic rather than an extrinsic motivator for them, because they want to be there. Yeah, you're suddenly going to find that your power's suddenly cut off, and this interview is about to end. So on that note, actually, though, it does bring us towards the end of the interview. So big thank you to Roy. Before we sort of finish, is there anything else that you want to share, or have we covered pretty much most things? Or
as far as Service Sports Wetherby or top of the range is concerned, I am like all SMEs. I'm very pleased about it. I'm very proud of it, and I'm very proud of everybody as an individual that works with us, and as importantly, as we work together as a team. Yeah. And to me, obviously, well, I joined the army at the tender age of 16 in 1 month, and it was only about teamwork. The technicalities of whether you can lift something, blow something up, or make the water taste nice it's obviously paramount, but it is all about teamwork, and that's what I strive, and I'm very, very proud of
It's great, and I think a message to everyone else really from this is some of the challenges that lockdown and the pandemic and everything like that threw up actually have turned into brilliant opportunities. You happen to be, as you say, right place, right time. You'd put in certain actions just ahead of time, whether that was genius, whether it's foresight, or whether it was just, that's how it panned out. You earned the right, and
we strive, like we've just installed a barcoding system, which was, it was a reasonable amount of money and a reasonable amount of time and labour to learn how to use it. It was about 8,000 quid, with all the add-ons and this and that and the other that you get sold, or if you wish to purchase. And it's just making it more defined. And I've just said to the Northern area rep this morning, for one particular customer, take out the lads from the warehouse individually and get them to see what they're doing, what they're picking, what they're packing, where does it end up, who buys it. This just makes it a little bit more interesting. So we try and diverse, and every job now, to the best of my understanding, or possibly bar one, is doubled up. This person knows 60% of this person has 100% knowledge. This person will do that, and I did get some pushback on this, and every now and then I swap it round. And I'm not expecting everybody to be 100% at every role, but if someone goes sick or they're off on holiday, they've got enough knowledge to continue the role until they can learn 100%. So if we lose somebody by illness or whatever, they move, then the continuation can continue.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and keeping the wheels turning is absolutely key. And ultimately it's about servicing those customers, and making sure that you're not causing a delay to their needs. So it's a great model, and what we often find is companies based on values are much more successful, have greater longevity than the ones that are just driving for out and out results. It's just about the money, and that comes across quite clearly in terms of what you value, what you hold dear, what you ultimately believe to be valuable to others, is putting you in a very good position to continue the journey and keep moving forward. So that's absolutely great. So Roy, thanks again. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed getting an understanding of the business model, and what keeps you going, albeit with the drive to get prawns from Sydney Harbour. And what I would say is, if you're watching this and want to showcase your business, simply get in touch. If you want to do what Roy's done and actually build an interview so you can share your story, share your successes, and make more people aware of what you do and what you could do for them, then just get in touch. We'll get you booked in. So a big thank you to Roy. Thanks for joining us. And also thank you for everyone for watching yet another of our Business Showcase interviews. We'll see you soon. Take care.